Hi everybody, my name is Torrin Clark. I'm an assistant manager within the home renewables team at the Energy Saving Trust. I'm delighted to be able to speak to you today about the Green Homes Network and show you how you can unlock the green potential in your home by learning from other people's experiences. I'll be telling you about the benefits of engaging with the network, and then we will hear firsthand from one of our members about what they have achieved in their home. And perhaps it will even inspire you to do the same. So the Green Homes Network is an online database of around 300 members from all over Scotland. Each member has a case study which follows their journey to creating a more sustainable home. And the case studies show what motivated the member to take action, what types of improvements they've considered, where they went to for advice, how they found the installation process, and how they have benefited from making these changes. So there's a vast selection of different property types available to learn about, from listed buildings to new eco builds and everything in between. The case studies cover a wealth of different types of improvements, from householders who have installed renewable technologies to those who have improved the building fabric, and even those who have purchased electric vehicles, or in some cases, all of the above. So you should definitely be able to find properties which are similar style to yours, which have made similar changes to what you want to make, and in an area near where you live. Now, this last point is quite important because some of our members, in addition to having a case study about them on the database, may let you visit their property and learn about what they have done face to face. Other members are equally happy to chat over the phone or email you further information to answer any questions you may have. And you may be thinking, Torrin, this sounds great, but how do I find these case studies? Well, the online library is accessible via the Energy Saving Trust website. It's easy to search by location, type of measure installed, property type, or even the age of the property. And once you've selected your filters, you'll be presented with a list of relevant properties, and each case study will show you what options you have to engage with the Green Homes Network member if you want any further information. And speaking of engaging with members, with me today is our Green Homes Network member, Jim, who is passionate about sustainability and has a wealth of experience in improving his property to make it green.
Hi, my name is Jim. I'm a 68-year-old retired NHS radiographer. By being careful with my money, I retired about 10 years ago. And for the last 30 years, I've lived in South Lanarkshire in a small Scottish village with Fiona, my wife, and 2 cats. Being a farmer's son, I enjoy the space and fresh air and open countryside around this small community.
And tell us a little bit about your property. I understand you've made quite a few changes since you bought it derelict.
It's a detached house built around 1890, and originally it was 2 cottages for shale miners as a row of 8, but it was reduced. It needed a lot of work to make it habitable, so we installed a new roof, kitchen, bathroom, and redid the wiring and plumbing, etc. I've been working on it ever since. I prefer DIY, but there are some things beyond my modest skills.
And once you'd settled into the home, you'd obviously put a lot of work into it already, but you decided to look at some environmentally friendly upgrades. So what were your motivations to start making these changes, and what was your first step?
Conscious about my impact on the environment, and as farmer's son, I didn't want to spend more than was necessary on heat and light. We had some money left over from selling our previous house, or houses really, and wanted to make a better investment than a bank account, which gave little or no interest. I was looking to future-proof the property and beginning to think about long-term, about financial and environmental costs. These investments would save on bills and hopefully improve the house value.
So your first step, I think, was installing solar panels back in 2011, I think it was. Tell us how that went.
Well, it started as an unsolicited call trying to sell roof paint, an insulator of some sort, but they also did roof PV panels. At that point, I was so unaware I didn't even shop around or know about the feed-in tariff, but did, as a result, get the the top feed-in rate just in time. We were early adopters. It was expensive, but we quickly realized the benefits of the FIT payments, and the meter was even running backwards. We gained 180 kilowatt hours from April to October, which indicated the actual energy savings. The bills have come down substantially since having had them installed, and the feed-in tariff certainly helped.
Well, that's brilliant to hear. So I understand as well that, you know, since you've had the panels installed, you've made a few upgrades to them.
Yes, the panel optimizers were installed in 2016. The benefit of these was to reduce the losses from shadowing. Unfortunately, 2 optimizers failed, but they were replaced under warranty. A pylon battery and controlling inverter were installed in 2019. The benefits of those have been noticeable, but it's only 2.4 kilowatt hours. We hope to get a bigger battery later now that it has proved useful. Overall, these measures have meant we are now more self-reliant. We fully appreciate there's no longer an attractive FIT payment for newcomers. But as the price of batteries falls and technology improves, panels are becoming more profitable again. We had reduced our carbon footprint, but at that time we were still using oil for heat.
Yeah, so back in 2015, I think you decided to have a go at tackling the heating system. So tell us what you decided to do.
Well, we found oil was getting expensive. The boiler was getting old, and obviously none of it was great for the environment. We contacted Home Energy Scotland for advice and discovered options for alternative heating systems. I didn't find the cheaper biofuel methods attractive, being dependent on wood pellets and electricity. The ground source heat pump was attractive in terms of carbon, and the renewable heat incentive very useful. Home Energy Scotland also helped direct us to approved installers to get quotes. We set it to 18 degrees centigrade and find it comfortable. It doesn't need any adjustment once it's set up. With the modern heating controls, we can adjust the temperature when we're away and on holiday and things like that. And it adjusts easily if we use the wood-burning stove. Heat source pumps work gently and slowly, so there's not much point in flicking it on and off. No servicing as such. Power cuts have little effect and are now quite rare. The wood-burning stove takes any slack up, and conservatories help with the heat so that the radiators hardly come on in summer. But the heat pump seems fine, well below 0 on the outside. And personally, I prefer a shower to a bath, and not every day, and I reclaim the heat. So it does keep our costs down.
If you wanted to try and maintain that heat, did you make some fabric improvements to the property just to try and keep that level of heat in?
Oh yes. When I refurbished the house in the first place, I put some insulation in, but after the heat pump, we thought, well, try and make it more efficient. The cheapest energy is the stuff you don't buy. So the external wall insulation that we put in 2015 seemed the most effective. We were supported by Home Energy Scotland with a loan of 10,000, of which 4.5 was a grant. And as a result, the house has had a facelift, and it works as soundproofing as well.
I'm pleased to hear that you're now living in a very cozy home, but I understand that you've made even further upgrades, the latest of which was acquiring an electric vehicle. What motivated you to purchase an electric vehicle?
Well, the previous car was an 8-year-old petrol Vauxhall Zafira, which is about the same size as the one you see there. Commuting alone was costing £156 a month for fuel when I was working. Electricity would now be £43 a month if I was still working. As it is, the costs are frankly below the point of being worth calculating. I wanted to be, well, economic reasons, I suppose, to go for an EV for a while, but I couldn't afford it. And I also needed a model that would meet my requirements, so ability to carry stuff around. Then the interest-free loan came available, and Nissan brought out a van shape with a 40 kilowatt-hour battery. And I used the free loan, offset the price by selling the old car, and received a £5,000 subsidy and subsidised 7 kilowatt charge point.
So talk us through a little bit about the overall impact that all of these measures have had on your energy bills.
We're not in an area that can currently use smart meters, but knowing what I was spending on heating and electricity and running the car previously, I can say that my total expenditure have come down. I was previously spending £140 a month between electricity and oil for heating, and about 156 per month on diesel or petrol. Now I'm spending £120 a month on electricity, which includes the EV and of course the heating. I also receive an £83 a month feed-in tariff payment for the electricity, and 166 renewable heat incentive payment, which means I bring in more than I spend each month. Although I'm repaying the loan on the EV, this would be expected for any new car, and that's approximately £400 a month. But with savings and incentives, my costs, which are the car loan, fuel or electricity for the car, heat, light and other house electricity, they're about £150 a month. And additionally, of course, road tax is currently zero and car servicing much reduced. Next, I plan to purchase a bigger battery or use the car battery to feed into the grid when that technology becomes available. That requires a smart meter. Obviously, this has all been expensive to set up, but since the money would otherwise be sitting in a below inflation bank account, it seemed worthwhile.
So it sounds like you'll become even more self-sufficient in the future with using the car to feed back in as well. So that's great, and I appreciate you going through the breakdown of the bills there. I'm sure some of our viewers will find that interesting. So it's been great talking to you, Jim. And as a final takeaway, what advice would you give to other people, looking to make their property a bit more sustainable?
Well, first I'd say talk to Home Energy Scotland, because obviously more knowledge is better. You could hire a heat scanner. It may well be worth more than the cost and shows leaks that you weren't expecting in terms of heat. The most effective use of energy is not to buy it, so set the heating cooler and wear a jumper if necessary. Wool, of course, a Scottish wool, of course. Don't take the first estimate, especially if it's a limited time offer. Always check the market. You can check the company's credentials, especially for quick fit technology like small batteries, and keep the paperwork. Many warranties last for several years. A battery will definitely increase the benefit of solar panels and counteract the falling feed-in tariff subsidy. Downsize if you want, though this is a little harder if you've just got the house working right. And I believe it is now possible to get a combined or hybrid inverter for solar and battery, which should reduce costs as well.
Sounds like a lot of really good advice. So hopefully our viewers will take some of that on board. So I hope that everyone that's watched this presentation has been given some insight into what the Green Homes Network is about. And now that you've heard direct from one of our members, you've maybe realized the potential in your own home. If you want to find out more, you can view case studies yourself at the link at the bottom, perhaps get inspired to even create your own. Of course, we'd be more than happy to welcome you to our growing network. If you do want to get in touch with Home Energy Scotland to receive free advice on how to save energy, you may have noticed that their number has been at the bottom of each of the slides, so I would definitely urge you to get in contact with them as well. And thanks everyone for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.